Hello and welcome to the Grammar Gate. Today I am going to discuss about Dylan Thomas as a neo-romantic poet. Dylan Thomas is one of the most notable poets of the neo-romantic movement of the 20th century. His passionate emotions and his personal lyrical writings make him like the Romantics, and there are many reasons for calling Dylan Thomas a neo-romantic poet. He is one of the writers who has often been associated with the Welsh literature and culture. He knew very little Welsh and he began to write poetry while he was at school and worked in Swansea as a journalist before moving to London in 1934. His first volume of verse, 18 poems, appeared in the same year. Thomas's romantic affirmative rhetorical style gradually owned a large following. It was both new and influential and much imitated by his contemporaries of the New Apocalypse movement. Neo-Romanticism is a movement in painting, literature, book, illustration, film, theatre from the late 1930s to the early 1950s. The term was first used in 1942 to designate the figurative work by artists including Paul Nash, John Piper, Graham Sutherland, who turned for inspiration to Samuel Palmer and J.M.W. Turner and to the landscape vision of the Romantic poets. This latter vein of Neo-Romanticism found literary expression in the writing of the New Apocalypse group, which included Dylan Thomas and Norman MacKay. Neo-Romanticism was an art movement that began in the early 20th century in Great Britain and peaked in the periods immediately before and after World War II. Neo-Romantic artists focused on how the Industrial Revolution and modernity more generally alienated people from the natural environment. Neo-Romantic is a term that may most accurately be applied to those writers of recent years who have shown marked allegiance to the principles of Wordsworth, Coleridge, and Shelley, or who have in a distinctive way exemplified romantic modes of mind. The designation neo was used to acknowledge the fact that music of the second half of the 19th century remained in a romantic mode in an unromantic age dominated by positivism, when literature and painting had moved on to realism and impressionism, a new and different form of something that existed in the past. Dylan Thomas was influenced in his writings by the Romantic movement, and this can be seen in a large number of his best works, including the poems Poem in October, The Force That Through the Green Fields Drives the Flower, etc. Thomas illustrates both the vivid language and the complex, powerful, but often confusing imagery. In one of his poems, he describes the cycle of life and death, nothing that creation and destruction are part of the same process, both for man and for nature. Thomas is one of the few modern poets whose name is recognized by the general public. Several of his poems have passed into the cultural mainstream, and his work has also been used by authors, musicians, film and television writers. Thank you all for your kind attention. Please do like, subscribe and comment in my channel.